everyone. And thank you so much for jumping on and joining us today. I'm super excited about today's guest. I have Morissa Schwartz, also goes by Dr. Rissy. I've always kind of wanted to know that, so hopefully you go into that a little bit. But I just want to read over your bio quick because I was telling her before we jumped on here, I am blown away by what this woman has achieved. So she is the owner of Dr. Rissy's Writing.com, which is a marketing and writing company ranked in the top 2 social media experts in New York by Thumbtack and Gen Z Publishing.org, a publishing company which has produced 6 Amazon bestsellers. She holds a doctorate in literature from Drew University and has a master's in communication. Morissa has also broke a Guinness World Record for creating the longest chain of bracelets, is a best-selling author, has sung on MTV, speaks professionally about inspiring others, and was named Voice of Gen Z by Community Magazine. Holy moly. And how old are you? Do you mind me asking?
No, it's fine. I'm 27.
Okay, so tell it.
Over the hill, I know.
No, God. You're just
I'm feeling it. I'm fine. Okay, so when I was under 25, it was like, I can round my age down to 20. I'm young. Now it's like 30s here. So I'm feeling it. So I used to proudly be like, I'm only 23 and I broke a record. Now it's like, yeah, I'm 27. I know.
I love it. Just young chickadee still. But tell us about how, I mean, you were like, Morissa is on TikTok with me, and every time I turn around, I swear she's pulling out this new talent that I never even existed. So share your story and who you are and
sure. Yeah, well, with TikTok, it's really cool actually talking to you because, like, I see you every day on TikTok. You're like my TikTok idol, and it's just really cool actually talking. So thank you very much for having me.
Yes.
And you've taught me so much with TikTok, so it's amazing. Like I started on TikTok a year ago, but I didn't actually like start seriously doing anything until September. And you've seen like it's amazing how much it's grown, and it's really thanks to you. So yeah, thank you. So yeah, about me, I mean, I started out as in high school, actually. I'll go all the way back to how my business was started. All my friends were getting jobs at the mall, right? And they were miserable with those jobs. And I went to a biomedical science academy. So during the day, I was already doing all this science drudgery work. And science is not my favorite subject. That's why my doctorate's in literature. I like, that kind of stuff. So I was looking for a way to avoid a mall job. And my mother was reading one of her women's magazines and came across this freelance website and said, you might want to try freelancing. So I said, yes, I should try that. So the first thing I did was I said, I'm going to offer my singing services to people. And I started freelancing or offering that freelance service and didn't get a single order because it turns out nobody wants a 16-year-old singing in her parents' basement. Like, that's not really a service to offer. So that was my first lesson in online business. Okay. But then I saw a woman was looking for an editor for her children's horror book, which sounds like an oxymoron, but it's a true genre. And I edited her book. And she was very happy with it. So she referred me to another friend who referred me to another friend. And just throughout college and grad school and the next grad school, I just kept building up. I went from freelancing to then, hiring a classmate to help me where, her strength was graphics, which complements the writing very well. And we just started complementing each other's skills and just kept growing. And I now have a team of 40 and everybody has their own specialty. So that's how we're able to offer 360 marketing. So that's SEO, social media, PR, and ads. And that's really everything that a business needs to thrive online. So that's that business. It's a lot of fun. As of late, we've been working with a lot of people in the health and wellness industry and in medicine. And that's mainly because of COVID, because those are the businesses that really need to get out there. We've worked with everybody though, we worked with HP and Microsoft. If you ever go on to Microsoft's UI Twitter account, we wrote about 300 tweets for them, and I think they're still tweeting them out. That was a neat client. Yeah, that was neat. But so we have like big clients like that, but then we also have a fancy napkin company. Like their entire business model is producing and selling fancy napkins. I didn't know that was a business. it is, we work with them. So, you know, we've worked with a lot of different clients. My favorite to work with are always small businesses. I grew up in my parents' mom and pop carpet shop. So small businesses in my blood. Those are, you know, I really like working with them. As cool as Microsoft and HBR are to work with, it's great. But the small business, that's always my home. And then my other company is Gen Z Publishing. I just found out the other day, we have published 115 books. I thought we were at like 75. I said to Lauren, she's like my right hand, she's worked with me for 4 years. I was like, how many books do we have? About 60? She's like, no, 115. Here's all of them listed. I'm like, holy cow. So it started out as a company. I was in college and I wrote a book. It's called Notes Never Sent. And it was just kind of like a memoir, but it was notes that I would send to people if given the chance. So like the cashier who, you know, gives you a compliment, like that means a lot, but you never really thank them. So it was a book of like that, just positive, kind of like Justine, you're super positive. So you would like, it's that positive kind of vibe. So I'm in college and I pitched that to like 100 different book publishing companies. And I was pretty much all of them ignored me. And it's because book publishing is super competitive, but also they weren't taking a college kid seriously. So I decided to start my own book publishing company, Gen Z Publishing. And we came up with the name Gen Z because at that point, Gen Z didn't refer to people born 1995 and after. Gen Z just meant the new generation of people. Unfortunately, I think, you know, but we stick with that mantra of Gen Z means new, innovative ideas. And we publish people of all ages. You know, I don't want to be like the type, we had a 46-year-old, one of the first people who we published. And I didn't want to judge him the same way the book publishing companies judged me of, oh, she's too young. I didn't want to be like, oh, he's too old. So, and thank gosh I am, because the books that we've published, I'm very proud of, and a lot of them have reached a lot of people who appreciate them. And our main thing now is just innovation and giving people who previously wouldn't have a place to be published, a place to be published. And it's been really fun.
That is so cool. Yeah. So cool. Not to mention, like, with me writing my book, that was like the thing I had nightmares over. Nightmares. Because I hear so many horror stories of people, like, first not only like rejecting you, but completely like tearing your story apart, you know, and like, ugh. So I was like, yes, thank you.
The publishing industry is really rough. I've seen so many people who've gotten taken advantage of. There's one, he's been a very close follower for years, and he wrote to me and told me that a company charged him $5,000, and all they did literally was list his book on Amazon. They didn't edit it, nothing. And like, yeah, it's just so many things like that. It's a dog eat dog industry, unfortunately. But we're trying to change that.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I'm super excited because I can't wait to work with you guys. I'm like, publisher, check. Like, you'll have me check.
Yep.
So you are so young and you have 2 successful companies with a team of 40. That is incredible. That is incredible. So what has been like your biggest learning lesson since with managing that big of a team at your age?
Yeah, probably the biggest is you can't take anything personally, and even bigger than that is something is going to go wrong every single day. My father, who has owned businesses since he was in college, actually maybe even before then. No, he was the manager of an ice cream shop before that, so that's not a business owner. Okay, he has been a business owner since forever, and he said that to me. He said that something is going to go wrong every single day, and I thought, I don't want to hear that, but it was so true, and thank gosh he warned me, because something does go wrong every day, but it's all about the way that you handle it. I have a client who has been with me for 2 years who I love so much, and he had an issue on Friday. So of course, at first you want to take it personally. You want to think, oh my gosh, I did something and get all upset. But we scheduled a meeting. We went through it today. Turns out some of the, he was reading some of the results incorrectly. It's like, okay, something went wrong, but we fixed it right away. I told him exactly what everything meant. And there's always an easy way when you realize that to solve, because you're already preparing for it. Same with team members. There's somebody doesn't realize that have to log into something. There's always something. And if you're just prepared and ready with an easy solution, you know how to fix it.
Yeah, I love that. And it's true.
Yeah.
It's like you can't have 2 good days in a row. which it sounds like a negative, but it's all about perspective. You know, is that thing bad, or is that just part of the day? You know, so
it's a hurdle, and it's a something to help you grow. You know, if I jumped into what today's day was like, where it was super busy and just phone call after phone call 5 years ago, I wouldn't be able to handle it. But because I've been growing and working at it and realizing how you have to solve them, I was able to handle a day like today. So yeah, and there aren't good or bad days. There are good and bad things, just like people. There are good and bad in everything.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. So let's talk about your marketing. So I've never heard 360 marketing before you said that. So is that like a thing, or is that a Morissa thing?
It's a thing. It just means, so here's why we started calling it 360 marketing and telling people that, because we do social media, we do PR, we do ads, and we do SEO. And a lot of people say, oh my gosh, you do so many different things. But they're not actually a bunch of different things. They actually go together. So, you know, if you have good social media, it helps your SEO ranking. So it makes sense to do your SEO with your social media. If you get out there, so like we had a client on Forbes, and we had another client on Entrepreneur. Them getting on Forbes and Entrepreneur as part of PR helps their SEO. Their ranking is going to skyrocket because they were on a domain authority website of 90. And then they can also use that to improve their social media presence and show people, hey, you should follow me, or you should keep following me because I had this cool article come out in Forbes. And then the last part of that is ads, where basically you're just paying to get more people to see what you're putting out there on your website and on your social media, which are part of SEO and social media. So they all go together. So that's why I say 360, meaning it's encompassing all those things. And I didn't term that, what is that phrase? I didn't coin that term. It is out there. But I think some people have maybe different definitions, but that's my personal definition. It's those 4 main categories and all them working together.
Yeah, I love that. And SEO is something I'm not real familiar with, and that's a search engine optimization. So does that change a lot? I'm assuming it does. Like is that one of like where you follow? But I'm intrigued.
It does, and you know, everybody. Here's the thing with SEO. SEO is like a big term or a fancy term. People always need to make fancy terms for everything. I learned that. I went to the Academy for Biomedical Sciences, and they would just say fancy terms. It's like, just say arm. We don't need to say a big fancy name for it, like, you know. But it's the same thing with SEO and so many of these other things. They use these big intimidating terms, but everybody knows what SEO is. And you know, you as a TikTok person, SEO is filling out your hashtags, having a description to describe your video. That's SEO. SEO with my clients, since 99.9% of them are not on TikTok, even though I'm trying to get them to do that, it's about Google. So it's, you know, if you're hungry, you want pizza, you type pizza into Google, what is going to make your restaurant, or the restaurant, you know, that's our client, what's going to make them pop up first? Because most of the time you're not going to go page 5 to, you know, you're hungry now. You're just going to look at the first 3 results and go, yeah, Antonio's pizza looks good. So we try to get our clients ranked in there. And the ways to do that are updating their website regularly, making sure that the regular keywords are in there, updating their social media. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it's really not as complicated as it sounds, though. Like, they just use big words, and I think it's to intimidate people, so that then, you know, those robocallers can call and be like, we will make you #1 in SEO, and then people go, oh, okay, I guess I need this.
Right. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that automation?
Yeah, it's so I've had people come to me and they go, oh yeah, my website is hosted through GoDaddy, and they made my website SEO when I bought it, and that's always just a hunk of hooey. GoDaddy doesn't know your keywords. Maybe they'll rank you. So if you're selling cat sweaters, maybe they'll put the word cat sweaters on your website. That doesn't mean that you're going to be #1 for cat sweaters. If you really want to be competitive, you need to find keywords that you're going to rank #1 for. So maybe cat sweaters, handmade with cashmere yarn. That might be something where, okay, go rank #1 for that keyword, but GoDaddy isn't ranking you for that. So that's where a trained professional, like the ones that we have on my team, would come in and put those rankings up there.
I love that. I love that. Not to mention, like, you just give off this young just like bright vibe. And I can see it like even in your TikTok videos. Like I love what you do with like your niche that you found on there, because
My
you're
niche is just weirdness.
it is, and that's why I love it so much. And like trolling the trolls that come on your, I look at some of your videos, and I'm like, someone seriously commented that, and then you just play right along with it. Have you seen?
Oh, my favorite is just pretending that I don't know how to read, which it's great because some people think I'm serious, and then they find out, oh, there's a doctorate in literature there. She's kidding. So.
Oh, you've just got such a cool twist, and that's why I was so pumped that you wanted to come on here, because I think a lot of times people think marketing and book publishing and they're like, "Whoa," but you just give off this fun, like, no, we're going outside of the box today kind of, and I just feel like that's so needed right now to do anything.
Yeah, you gotta have fun. You have to enjoy what you're doing. And I actually had a talk with a team member before. It was a busy day and she was feeling stressed. And I said, you gotta love what you're doing. If you don't love what you're doing, if you're not having fun, if you're feeling stressed, we need to change something. It's so that's 100% what I'm about. That's what I instill in my team, just making sure everybody's happy and our clients can tell. One of the biggest compliments I get from my clients all the time is just, I love your team. They're so friendly. They're so personable. They really care. I always make sure, that we're all like that.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Would you mind touching on, so you sang on MTV? Please tell.
Yeah.
Please tell.
I grew up in the American Idol generation of just idolizing that show, watching it religiously. I could name the top 10 of every season, seasons 1 through 10. Like I was that much of a stan of that show. And then when I was 16, I started auditioning for American Idol. And by that point, there were other singing shows that came out. So I kept auditioning, and it's not like what they show on television. I won't even go into the American Idol audition process, but I wound up getting cast on an MTV show. And since there were so many singing competition shows coming out around that point, of course, MTV made their own version, which was kind of like their own version of The Voice. And they basically copied The Voice's format with a little twist. But it was called Copycat, which is just very ironic because they were literally copying The Voice, and it's called Copycat. So I was on that show. It was a dream come true. I got my "You're Going to Hollywood" sticker. I mean, it was a carbon copy of the singing shows down to the "You're Going to Hollywood" announcement and everything, which was done via Skype. So I didn't get that in person from Simon or anything, but I got that "You're Going to Hollywood" via Skype. They flew me out to Los Angeles, which had been a lifelong dream. Like, oh my gosh, I'm getting flown to Los Angeles by MTV. I got to sing on the big stage. I made it to the top 5 of my it only lasted one season, but I made it to the top 5. I sang, this is a little behind the scenes. I like singing powerful songs by powerful women. I want to sing Alicia Keys or Kelly Clarkson or Beyonce, and they all said, no, you're going to sing Ellie Goulding. And I had no idea who Ellie Goulding was, but I had to pretend to be her biggest fan. And
Really?
I sang Ellie Goulding on the show. Yeah, back then, because this was a few years ago. I like the powerful women, and I like rock music. I'm like Jack White's biggest fan. I think I made a few TikToks about all that like kind of stuff. But yeah, I like that kind of music. So it was very out of my comfort zone to do Ellie Goulding, but I did, and it was a dream come true. It was so fun, and I got to sing on the big stage. And the best part though was Jonathan Bennett, who played Aaron Samuels in Mean Girls, and later, more recently, the Ariana Grande music video for Thank You Next. He hosted the show, and it was just the neatest thing in the world, because Mean Girls that's another thing I'm just a massive stan of. And probably one of the best memories of it was we were on stage between takes, and he's joking around, and he yells into the audience. He says to me, your parents are in the audience? And he's yelling to my mom, like just bantering with her about my bracelets. And like, I don't even remember what else they were bantering about, but it was just hilarious. And what an experience. It was so, so neat. So that was a dream come true. And then I just made a TikTok on this one too. I did a couple years later a show for Lifetime on my world record bracelets. And I'm still, it was a TikTok challenge of people to please find the episode because I never got to see it.
That's right. And who was the celebrity that was on there?
That was Kat Deely from not Dancing with the Stars. I'm such a big fan. I know exactly what she's from. No, So You Think You Can Dance.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Not as big. I mean, she was awesome, but Jonathan, you can't compare Mean Girls to So You Think You Can Dance. I mean,
no, it's pretty incredible. I've always, oh man, what a cool life, like, what a cool moment. Like, I don't know, so cool.
Yeah,
so cool.
That was definitely a lifelong dream.
Yeah. And then what was it like? What's winning or like breaking a Guinness World Record? Can you tell us a little bit about how does one do that?
Yeah. So I made a TikTok on this. Everything we're talking about is just like, watch the TikTok after this interview.
Yeah.
So I had a goal list, which is basically a bucket list, but I don't want to call it a bucket list because I was 12 and not old and didn't want to be that gloomy. So I made a goal list and I put down a bunch of different goals, and singing on a television show was one of them. Breaking a world record was none of them because I was 12. What does a 12-year-old want to do? A 12-year-old is reading the Guinness Book World Records and watching American Idol. So I came up with all these 12-year-old goals and ideas that I want to do. But I'm very like, I need to do everything that I said I'm going to do type of person. So when I was 16, that was when I wrote my first book, and it was called A Career in Contests. And I thought, what is a good way to promote this book and to, which writing a book was on my goal list. What's a good way to promote this book and also do something, cross something off my goal list? Oh, breaking a world record. So this is where the TikTok comes in. I go to my school library and I say to the librarian, I was super timid back then. I'm an introvert by nature. TikTok is great for that. I remember you said the same kind of thing, like it brings out, so I'm real timid, and I go up to the librarian. I'm like, can I get the Guinness Book World Records? And she says, really rude, just like, no, you're too old for that. And I'm like, I walk away, tail between my legs, like, okay, I guess I'm not going to break a world record. But then I remembered, oh, it's the 2010s. The internet exists. Let me look up the world record on my computer. And I did. And I found the world's longest chain of beads. And I start breaking it. And in the middle of breaking it, this old couple goes and does the whole thing. And they made a larger chain than I ever could dream of it. So I'm like, shoot, okay, well, I'm halfway through this thing. I can't beat theirs. Let's find another record. So then I found world's longest chain of bracelets. I'm like, perfect, I'm gonna do that. I did it. And then shortly after I did it, a school of children beat my record, but I still have the record for the individual world's longest chain of bracelets.
Wow.
Yeah.
So do they come and see it, or is it like all through like a picture?
Oh, so I had to have a camera on me for 24, 40, 72 hours of chaining together the bracelets. Okay. I had to get two notarized signatures. I had to have two witnesses, which was the principal of my school and our editor-in-chief of our local newspaper, because they were, reliable sources. And so I had all that done. Then we had to mail all that out. The whole process took a year. Like, it only took me 3 days to do the bracelet chain, but it took an entire year for it to get approved. That's something that a lot of people don't know, though, about the world record. For them to actually fly out and see it, you have to pay like several $1,000s to fly them out. So that's why I'm like, nope, my principal can come over and take a look.
Yeah. How cool. Oh, yeah. Marissa, you are just like a blessing. You bring so much sunlight to my day, my life every single day. If you, if anyone's on TikTok, go find Morissa, because I swear I laugh all the time. And it's so creative, so beautiful. But where can people find you? Or like, if there's a small business owner watching, what would you suggest? Where do they start? Because I know marketing can be kind of a big thing for people.
Yeah, I mean, my name is Morissa with an O, Schwartz, everywhere. And luckily, I have a very unique name, which makes it so I can't get personalized items, but you can find me easily because, as far as I know, I'm the only person in the world with this name. So if you search my name, you're going to find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I'm on every social media platform. You can also find my website, drrisseswriting.com. And yeah, pretty much just Google my name and everything comes up.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on here with me, my dear. I'm going to have you back on again, but you are
Yeah,
just,
that was so fast.
right? It's like 30 minutes gone. I love it.
Insane.
I love it.
Thank
Do
you.
you have anything else you'd like to share?
No, I think we're good. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. And we will chat soon. And I will put your websites, because I do have your websites bookmarked. I'll put those in the show notes, and then either you can drop them on Facebook or I can, whichever is easiest for you. But I want people to be able to find you. So if you could drop them,
Well,
that'd
thank
be
you.
awesome. Okay.
Awesome.
Well, thank
Beautiful.
you so much. And we will chat soon.
Alrighty. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank